break it down further with somebody far smarter than I, finance expert Zack Friedman, founder and CEO of Make Lemonade. It's all looking like some pretty big tax cuts. Is there a catch? Call me skeptical.
There's always a catch, Michaela.
Yeah.
And you know, it depends how you break it down, right? It's a budget, and there's about a $1.5 trillion loss to the government in terms of revenue that will happen over the next 10 years. So they have to fill it in terms of an exchange for giving up the tax income. So what are those issues? So if you look, number one, the mortgage deduction is something that may be capped at $500,000 for new mortgages. So what that means is that if you're purchasing a new home and you want to take a mortgage larger than that, you may not be able to take benefit of the tax deduction. That could hurt people, particularly homeowners. It can hurt mortgage lenders, other folks in the real estate industry, which could curb real estate purchases.
Okay, let me stop you.
Sure.
Let me stop you there, because I know that you could list off all these things, but we actually want to kind of walk through a few items specifically. I want to take a family of four. Okay. They believe, the GOP believes that a family of four would save an annual $1,182 in taxes a year. And let's just flip the script a little bit. If you get that money back, what could you do with that, right? You could spend some money on holiday shopping. I think we have that full still because, you know, people, the average, according to the National Retail Federation, that's about what people spend, $967 on holiday shopping. Groceries could run you up to $1,053 a year, right?
Right.
No, not a year, pardon me. That's the cost of a family of four for a month. Or you could put it towards childcare costs, because, you know, that can really run up the bill. I mean, look at the prices. That's just a week. If you go up to a nanny, it's $565 a week. It looks good that this money is going to help families, but that's assuming that people are going to say are going to spend it and put it back into the market. A wise person would probably tell you, put that money away, pay off a bill, tuck it away for a rainy day.
You're exactly right, Michaela. Yes, $1,200 is not that much in the scheme of a year. We look at some of the child care costs, for example. And so, right, a smarter individual might say, hey, I'd actually like to pay down some high-cost debt, or I'd like to invest it in the stock market, or I'd like to save it in my savings account. And so, you know, I think the hope from the Republican plan is that the money is put back into the economy, and there's a hope that it would stimulate the economy. But if folks tend to save it or invest it or pay down debt, you might not see that economic effect.
Right, and that you know, that's the other part of this, is what you talked about at the outset, is how all of this is going to be paid for. I mean, you talked about the big deficit. I mean, what does that look like?
It's a great question. It's going to be about $1.5 trillion to pay for this tax plan at least. And this is coming just from the House plan. There's a separate Senate plan that they'll put together, and eventually they'll get reconciled before sending any finalized bill to the president's desk. But that's the big question. How do you pay for it? And a lot of these headline numbers seem great in terms of simpler tax brackets and lower tax brackets for folks and some cash back in pockets. But what actually happens on the flip side in terms of what gets cut, how it gets paid for, what programs disappear, whether it's mortgage deductions or even taking off property taxes in high-income states, high relative tax states like California, New York, New Jersey that have high state income tax, and you'd want those deductions to come off typically on your taxes. Those would go away. So that impacts a lot of people, even with student loan debt. There's currently student loan deductions you get for your interest each year. That would go away under this plan. So there's a lot of questions that will loom. There'll be debates back and forth from lobbyists, congressional leaders. They'll weigh in both houses, in the House and the Senate. And this is really just the beginning.
It is the beginning. And people are just getting a chance to read through the fine print and see what it means, the micro and the macro. Zack Friedman, you'll get a chance to dig further as well. Thanks for joining us to give us at least the brief overview of where it stands right now. Good to see you.
Anytime. Thank you, Michaela. Great to see you.
You as well.